your why, your reason, your desire has to be stronger than your excuses or your roadblocks, or you're never going to make the traction. Hi, friend. Welcome to Gather and Growth, a show created for passionate, growth-focused rural women like you. From mindset work and building strong habits to exploring the unique joys and challenges of living rural, this is a show to leave you feeling joyful, inspired, and a little less alone. Together, we're on a journey of reaching for the most confident, healthy, and authentic version of ourselves, and I'm forever grateful to have you by my side. Whether you're currently running on a back road, shuffling kids to town, hopping along for a tractor ride, or 3 loads deep into folding laundry, grab yourself a nice coffee and let's dive in. Hello, beautiful friend. I am so grateful you are here with me today. I am here to share an analogy / visual that came up in a coaching call a few days ago. We were really kind of going on this, what turned into a very random tangent. And we were both kind of giggling because it was, I'm not saying it's obscure, but she was like, you have got to turn this into like an Instagram post or a podcast episode or something, because it was actually so helpful for as out there and funny as it became. So to give you some context on this person, she started masterminds with me, over a year ago, like last March or April. And she is working a corporate position that was 1000% her dream job. What she thought she'd be doing forever, loved it so much until she didn't. But even when starting masterminds last year, she couldn't quite even pinpoint why or what was going on. She just knew that she had like an unsettled feeling that, gosh, there's just something that I'm missing. There's something else out there. And so through masterminds through all of 2022, and then coming to the Ascend retreat in November, and then even into masterminds and now one-on-one coaching this year, we've really been doing a lot of inner work on figuring out what she really wants and some of those roadblocks that have been holding her back and making action plans to move forward. And to make a long story short, essentially, she is in the process of launching a business that originally was an idea to be like a little fun side project. And now she is pretty darn ready to leave that corporate job and go all in on this, in addition to, being more full-time on the farm, doing what she really loves alongside of her family. And she's at a point where she's about to do the first launch for this thing that she's created. And there has been so much growth, so much reconfiguring every step of the way, so much internal and external progress. But now that it's like time to put it out into the world, it's kind of like you just, as much as you believe in it, as much as you love it, as much as your heart is in it, there's this little voice that's just like, can I really do this? Is this even possible? Is anyone going to be on board with this? Like, is this going to be a success? Am I putting eggs in this basket for nothing? Our brains are literally designed to keep us safe. And where this analogy began is I was explaining that because those thoughts come up. And I think for a lot of us, that inclination is like, because we logically know the opposite of that is true. We know we have the capacity to bring anything to life. We know that worst case scenario, it's going to be a learning process and we'll get better. We know that the world is not going to come crashing down if things don't pan out the way we imagined. We know that. But our brains aren't necessarily designed for that. And so I wanted to give like a very realistic ounce of compassion for that, of like, you have to meet yourself where you're at and know that those thoughts are not coming from nowhere. And here's where the analogy went a little off kilter. If we think back to, and I'm going to say I am not a historian, so I'm not sure exactly what time period I'm talking about, but let's just say in the realm of like cavemen era, early people, prehistoric, I don't know what the right phrasing is, so don't come at me for saying it wrong. But basically in the realm of where people were actively living off the land, let's just say that, our human brains were designed to keep us from danger. And at that point in time, it was like very real physical danger. The reality we exist in today, we are more often than not in much less physical danger and more emotional danger. But our brain trying to keep us safe hasn't changed in a lot of ways. We understand the worst case scenario, we understand the risks, and we mitigate that and figure it out in order to do the things that we want to do. But of course, when, in the example of what this person is going through, approaching this launch, there's all these warning signs that are like, this is dangerous. This is not safe. You don't know what's going on here. A really long time ago, that was maybe like a new territory or dangerous predators, that feeling of this is unfamiliar. This is unsafe. We don't know what's out there. You could literally get eaten or ran over. And still, we're emotionally processing the same thing. We are, oh my gosh, what are people going to think of you? What if this fails and you feel terribly about it? What if? And of course, the what ifs are different. But still, our brains are wired to keep us comfortable, keep us safe, keep us in our cave or in our safe, warm home, because everything outside of that is potentially a hazard. And so what I was challenging her with is that is true, and we can acknowledge that, but what's the price? If we're going back to the way long ago example, well, it was going after the buffalo. It was the meat, it was the hide, it was the bones, it was the fruit of the labor, the things that you needed for your family, for yourself, in order to get closer to where you wanted to be, or in order to ensure more health and safety. And something like launching a business or doing your first product launch, that's like your buffalo, right? That is like everything you want, everything you've worked so hard for, everything that you know that you need, everything that feels good and so aligned and so right. Everything that your survival feels like it depends upon. But of course, going out on a hunt for the first time or in a new area would be scary. There would be a lot of unknown dangers. There would be things to navigate and things to be on the lookout for. Ways that your brain is like, you know what? Maybe we don't need the buffalo. Maybe it would just be fine if we went back. But you want the buffalo. You need the buffalo. The buffalo is going to make your life better. So you got to do it anyway. Friend, I am so giddy excited to announce that my next Ascend retreat for rural women will be held this March 14th through 17th on the beach in Gulf Shores, Alabama. You heard that right. Not only are we in for a weekend of profound life change surrounded by like-minded women from small towns, rural communities, and farms from all over the country and beyond, but we get to engage in small group conversations, one-on-one coaching, incredible workshops while overlooking white sand beaches and listening to crashing waves. Just imagine waking up in the morning and sipping coffee on the beach while engaging in meaningful conversations with women who truly get you. What would it be like to be in a room where you don't need to feel self-conscious about your personality or your quirks because you are wildly accepted for exactly who you are today? Just think about the energy that will be in this space as you dig deep, ask the hard questions, and figure out what you really want in this season of life, career, or business. If you're in a place where you feel like you've checked all of the boxes in life, but honestly feel like something is missing, or maybe you've kind of lost yourself through motherhood, career, or transitioning back to the farm, and you can't really imagine what comes next, but know that there's something that's meant for you. Or honestly, if you just need a kick in the pants jumpstart to begin the trajectory of bringing your crazy dreams to life, this is the retreat for you. Space is limited to 15 attendees and spots will fill fast. There are flexible payment options available to fit your lifestyle and budget for over the next year. For more information or to reserve your spot, tap the link in today's show notes. I absolutely cannot wait to welcome you into the Ascend community and welcome you into an experience that I know for certain will change your life. See you in Gulf Shores. And this was a very similar conversation to something we were talking about in a mastermind group last week. You have all of these reasons or excuses to not do something. Analysis paralysis, procrastination. I don't know what to do next. What are they going to think? And those are real things that you can acknowledge and you can either let hold you back very easily because, again, comfort and safety is easier than the alternative. But when your fulfillment of your purpose or your family's financial situation or your legacy or just the desires that you have, the things that you want to accomplish, that has to be greater than the things that want to hold you back. Your why, your reason, your desire has to be stronger than your excuses or your roadblocks, or you're never going to make the traction. And so, of course, there is this moment of like reevaluation and making sure that the things you're going after are what you really want. But if you know in your heart what you want and what you need, and it feels like a heck yes, wouldn't it be cool if this is true? That when all of those warning signs, when all of those, oh my gosh, this is scary, I don't know if I can do this, blah, 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 blah. When all of that comes up, you have to be able to say, the prize is worth it. I want that buffalo, even though it's going to be hard, even though it's going to be scary, even though it requires putting myself out there, even though I don't know whether it's going to work out, how it's going to work out. I have to have faith that what I'm stepping into is right for me. And it's going to turn out better than I imagined. You have to know, I can't predict the steps. I can't predict how this is going to be. I have to be okay with knowing I'm going to suck at this at first. I'm sure. To go back to my cheesy analogy, I'm sure if it was your first time, if it was like your coming of age and it was your first buffalo hunt, I'm sure you did not get exactly what you're going after. Or you needed someone to help you. You had to do it in community because we weren't meant to do hard things alone. But after the first one, you learn, you reiterate, you got to put yourself out there again because your buffalo is worth it. And so whether it's building a business, establishing new habits, sharing on social media, volunteering in your community, changing the way you're farming, whatever it is, whatever that dream, that goal, that vision is on your heart, you have to acknowledge, where are these roadblocks coming from? Why am I thinking them? Oh yeah, it's also because my brain is literally designed to keep me from danger. So I can either let it hold me back and I can stay right where I'm at in my comfort zone, which is comfy. It's safe. It's easy. Cushy, it's warm, or the risk of what I want to do is worth it. My goal, my dream, my vision, my buffalo, that's what I want. Because that meat and that hide, that is going to get me closer to where I want to go. That is the thing that's going to change my life. And that is going to look different for everyone. Okay? It could be bringing new intentionality to your day. Could be changing your family dynamic. When I'm talking about your buffalo, I think anytime we talk about goals and dreams, so often we look what everyone else is doing and we think about these big, giant things, running a marathon, writing a New York Times bestselling book. If that's your dream, if that's your buffalo, awesome. But whatever intentionality, whatever goal, whatever dream, whatever vision you want to bring into your life, you have to know that the risk, that the challenge, that the things you're going to have to figure out along the way It's not going to be easy, but it is sure as heck going to be worth it. So I think that there is comfort in knowing when those doubts come up that is so normal. And there is probably some biological reason in your brain that is happening to keep you safe. But you know that you can do hard things, you can keep promises to yourself, and you can bring anything into your life that you're dreaming of. You just have to know that your buffalo is worth it. That is all. This is a short and sweet little episode just for you. That is like a little microdose of one-on-one coaching or being in a mastermind. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you followed my little visual. I was a teacher, so I love little visuals. I think a lot of times we think in pictures. So thanks for bearing with me on that one. Hope it was helpful. And if so, go ahead and pass it along to a friend who is approaching her buffalo. And until next time, I am so forever grateful for you. Have I told you today how much I appreciate you? I'd like to imagine this was a meaningful backyard patio kind of chat between friends sipping LaCroix at sunset. If you enjoyed today's show, please take a screenshot to share or forward this episode to a friend. You can also find me at Emily Rushell over on social to continue the conversation. It's truly a joy to hear what tidbits and takeaways made an impact on your day. As always, all links and resources mentioned in today's episode can be found in the show notes listed below or over at emilyrushell.com. Special thanks to my podcast manager, Jill Carr, for the time and love she puts into producing Gather and Growth for this community. What a blessing it is to be on this personal growth journey together. Forever grateful for you.